What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to the channel. I missed you guys. I was out obviously last night with work doing the 9 to 5 stuff, but yeah, we're back. We're back, and we've got a very important live stream tonight. We're going to be breaking down the PPI data that came out. We'll talk about CPI data and how that's going to be really, really important tomorrow. How does that flow into potentially a market pump? But it is worth noting that we could actually get a pretty pants report tomorrow, which could actually see us then foresee a pretty heavy decline. So we will have to wait and see what happens in that. We were going to try and break some of the data down. We'll try and get into what might be on the wave. However, in the short term, we can celebrate a solid move up in the market. Bitcoin, for a moment, breaking into the 114s before retracing back down. Davo in the building. What's going on, buddy? ETH having a reasonably okay day. Altcoins actually been spearheaded and running by a couple of other coins. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll get into it all as well. And hopefully, yeah, we'll have a good show. It's going to be epic. I don't normally do this, but I feel like it's appropriate. Just dead quick. And not that I think anyone's going to really mind, is that our thoughts and prayers must absolutely go out to Charlie Kirk, who's, I don't know if you guys have been, who's been literally shot at an event in Utah, and it looks fucking horrendous as well. So hopefully, you know, this isn't political at all, but you know, hopefully thoughts and prayers go out and he's okay. But shit, it looks bad. I'm not gonna lie. It looks terrible, actually, in fairness. So yeah, anyway, fingers crossed. As that develops, then let's hope for the best, I think is probably the best way to think about it. But yeah, it's terrible. Really bad, actually. You guys see Charlie Kirk got shot? Yeah, in the next. It's awful. It is terrible. And like you said, we hope and we pray that he is okay. Let's hope he's okay. That's sort of where I'm at with it. Okay, good. Right, let's say hello to a few people, and then we will get into the very much meat and two veg of this stream this evening, where we're going to talk all about some of the data and some of the news that's come out today, because it's a pretty big deal. So, Craig, what's going on? 37 here, looking bullish in green, by the way. And if you haven't already joined the membership, then feel free to do so. We got a couple of alpha calls went into our Discord channel, as well as some good trade setups as well. That are in there. So if you are a member of the channel, you automatically get access to our VIP members of the Discord. If you want that, then check it out. Likewise on TikTok as well. Good. Okay, Kevin, good to see you, man. Foz, welcome to you. Brandon Harris, just getting up, baby. What's going on, buddy? Beebs, good to see you. Welcome in. Tim Shay's in the building. DJ Brian, what's going on? Cheese is here. Tomato Pete, always a pleasure to have you in here, my man. Did Timmy get Chopper combining Craig and Hopper? Ooh, no. Could have been, though. Sean's here. Good to see you, Sean. Welcome in. And then welcome to all the Familia Madrigal here on TikTok. Davo, absolutely crushing it straight off the bat. What's going on? John's here. Fairground, what's going on? Fairground says hello, YouTube. And I'm sure YouTube says hello, Fairground. Mark Noby's in the building. What's going on, Mark Noby? Good to see you, man. And yeah, lots of people tuning in. Lots of people jumping onto the stream. And yeah, we appreciate you. So like I said, sit back, relax, enjoy it. We're going to be here for the next hour. Don't forget, I'm back half an hour after that, 5:30, with none other than 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗀. We're going to be taking a look at a few of the bits. Maybe we have some guests. Who knows? It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. It's still worth being a member of the Discord with the alpha calls and everything else. More people should sign up. See, Obi Joe knows what's up. And you get a little coin next to your name. Although it's weird that it's like proper down to the right. But anyway. Johnny, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Okay. So let's get into what's going on in the markets right now. I will, you guys can come and join me in a second. Go and enjoy the charts as we take a look at what's happening with the Bitcoin price. So here we go. This is currently the price of Bitcoin, 113,617. Pretty good news. Again, solid day in the market today. Obviously, you can see this nice little pump here, which came in. What's important to reference here, by the way, volume is relatively flat, but it does mean that we got a lot of buyers coming into the market. Generally speaking, a good news story. What's also worth noting, specifically, we have now turned bullish, which is what we were asking or looking for over the sort of last maybe 2 or 3 days, was this uptick trend as we continue this upside pattern, again, playing out here on the Bitcoin chart. Likewise, this bottom indicator that we've got has also turned bullish as well. So this is a very good setup. However, this is not the moment where you go full-on degen 100x leverage long on this play, because CPI data may bring us crashing back down pretty quickly tomorrow. Now, there is a stark difference between PPI data and CPI data. We'll sort of break that down a little bit when we go through the specific numbers. I actually have the report here that we'll talk about. I know I'm probably a little bit behind the others, but I want to talk more specifically about how this plays out tomorrow, as in my opinion, that's going to be CPI is going to be more important. Too bit down long legs into my bill. Oh, honestly, right? So picture this. I was live streaming. I was recording a video the other night. It was on day one today, Wednesday, Monday night. And I'm like chatting and I was talking about, I think it was like a Bitcoin one. And I was, discussing this. And I am not kidding, right? There was a spider that came out from behind, like I have like soundboards on the wall. And it was over here, right? And it was king enormous. I mean, it was so much so that I couldn't actually get it onto a cup to throw out the window. It was absolutely enormous. And I think you could probably see it as I'm recording it, because I'm like, da da, then stop the stream as honestly, it was enormous. Anyway, that's for another night. What's important to think about here, though, on the 12-hour chart, just to give you a kind of idea as to what's playing out right now. As you can see here, we are starting to see the green line. Now, the green line is the lower exponential moving average, actually the 20-day exponential moving average. What you can see is when you get a bearish cross, you generally see a continuation to the downside. What we're looking for right now is this green line here to converge with the yellow one, giving us a bullish cross, which then could absolutely start to potentially print the market to much higher highs. We have a couple of key resistance levels we've got to break back above, like 114.5, 116.7, etc. But this could play out very favorably over the course of the next 24 hours. Now, think about this. If we were to get a relatively good CPI report, then all bets are off, and who knows where the hell we're going. We could see probably 116, 116.5, probably very comfortably, I would argue. Crackerjack, what's going on, buddy? Welcome. Paul Rose here as well. Good to see you guys. Take a seat. So we could definitely see that. I mean, Bitcoin's pushing right now. Look, 113.8 up 2.1%. Now, I'm not saying since I've gone live that that this is the reason Bitcoin's pushing. However, the reality is it's up nearly $300 since we've gone live. All right. So like I said, I don't make the rules up here. We just kind of talk about the markets. But what you can see is obviously some of this bullish catalyst as we got these results coming in on PPI, which we'll touch on in a minute. But Bitcoin's setting up to be a pretty nice run over the course of the next 24 hours. Again, aligned if we get CPI. If we get CPI, we're off to the freaking races. So hopefully we'll see that. ETH probably lagging a little bit behind, still within the range, though, not doing anything crazy. Solana continues this very nice chart. Now, if you remember the last live stream we were on, I literally talked about this, and I talked about this upside momentum with Solana. I actually said Solana was probably going to be something worthwhile looking at. Hopefully you guys took my advice. If you didn't, then okay, that's fine. You should be part of the Discord premium group, then you probably would. XRP was back above $3, 298 the minute. Again, look at this setup though on the 12-hour. XRP could flip bullish in the next 48 hours. This would be good news as well. Rest of the market pretty flat. Zebek had a decent move. Arrows up marginally. AVAX, story of the freaking day. Let's go AVAX. Starting to push. And what's important again on AVAX as well, look at this. AVAX is starting to just print very nicely here. Good, solid uptrend. And then when you start to look at where AVAX is going, you then got this beautiful pattern. Look at this. Beautiful pattern playing out once again. Came back, retested the 20 and 50-day exponential moving average. And then we now see the breakout on AVAX. So this could start to print a nice little run. If you were to argue where do you see AVAX's move, then dead easy. Take that to there and then move this one here to the breakout point. Oh, 2-bit, you absolute noob. Why'd you do that? Oh, come on, let me to do that. Then you take that to the breakout point on AVAX, and that will give us the price move. It's because I have like the back button on my mouse, so I just randomly click the back of my mouse, and it just like absolutely choppers me up to the max. Right, here we go. So yeah, take this on the breakout point. In my view, by the way, AVAX could be targeting $32 on this move if confirmational stays with us as this breakout happens, hopefully on the back of this CPI data. So watch out. Targeting AVAX at $32. We can put a little line here just to see how good my TA is. That's where I'm targeting AVAX as its next big move, which people might be thinking, oh my God, that's absolutely insane. But anyway, watch out. I think AVAX could definitely break out. Athea did sell off a little bit. I actually I took 50% out of this after this big pump, actually. So my buy price, or my DCA price that I got to was like 4.6, I think it was. So it rallied to 5.4 and I took 50% off, which wasn't a bad idea. And then I'm DCAing currently into World Liberty Finance and Pump Fun, albeit I am actually DCAing up into Pump Fun. So I'm taking this as an opportunity to potentially just make a position within World Liberty Finance. I don't know if it's going to be a good play or not, but again, it feels like a decent value at the minute. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Some of the other coins to think about, again, which I've been talking about for a while. I was talking about Pump. If you remember, I was discussing this when the debate was in all about World Liberty Finance, which one was the right one. And I talked a lot about Pump Fund, RevShare, etc. Well, look, it's gone on an absolute tear. Hopefully you guys got in. I got in at like 4, somewhere down here, I think it was. And yeah, I actually DCA'd up. It's the first project I've ever DCA'd up in fairness. Not a lot, but I did get a little bit. And yeah, I think we could be in for a good move on pub. Again, I wouldn't necessarily be buying anything right now. So I got a lot yesterday night, early hours of this morning. I didn't really go crazy, but I would definitely be sat waiting to see what CPI does over the course of tomorrow. But actually, meme's having a pretty decent move. Bonk up about 1.5%, which is a good move, and Pepe above 0.8. So actual overall market, look at this. The total 2, so it's everything minus Bitcoin, looks pretty solid. Overall market, 3.88 trillion, actually starting to print a nice little big mover. But 2 things to look at. The total 3, which is everything minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, is up nearly 1%. And the others, everything minus or outside of the top 10, looking very strong at 1.31, only second to the Bitcoin move. So actually all playing out pretty well, if you ask me, and feels like alt season is very much well underway. I mean, we hit 71 on the alt season index, which is good news. And yeah, looks like markets are playing out very, very favorably indeed. Right. Let's talk a little bit about PPI, and then I want to sort of double back on a couple of key things that are worth debating. So if you haven't already seen, and I'm sure most of you had, by the way, but PPI came in at a pretty strong result. Now, there is a couple of things to think about within this, and a couple of things that you're not going to get in CPI. So we can't directly say, well, because PPI was very good today, the US CPI is going to be the same. It's not correlated exactly the same way, and we'll talk a bit about what it is. As you can see here on the chart, and I don't know if you guys want to see this TikTok, but okay, I'll show you dead quick. So here you go, look, PPI for foreign demand components, a 1 month percentile change. What you can see is goods and services was actually up 0.1, services was down 0.2. This is where you're seeing the kind of big move overall. There was also a revision over the last one, which actually took it from a 0.9 to a 0.7, which ultimately just says that's pretty bullish, right? It's pretty bullish as it kind of came out. So you can see the final demand there came in at 0.1 on goods and plus 2.6 there overall for the month of August. And yeah, overall, pretty good news, right? Pretty good news. You can kind of go into a little bit more detail. I don't know if anyone's actually that bothered particularly, but the point is probably this one here. Look, so less foods, energy, and trade services actually rose 0.3, which is in line with expectations. 4th consecutive increase for the 12 months ending in August. So trade was actually the big index that saw a decline. Well, trade isn't involved in the consumers. Obviously, consumer price index is basically what you and I pay versus producer price index, which is this, which is basically what companies pay. So therefore, the reality is that, you know, generally speaking, companies will foot the bill for tariffs. Consumers generally don't, or they will have to. So the index for final demand services fell 0.2 in August, the largest decline since moving down 0.3 in April, right? So pretty bullish, right? Pretty bullish. How, yeah, it was decent homes, actually. It was decent homes. Yeah, BR95 I have. Yeah, I said at the start of the stream, I hopes and thoughts are with him. It's fucking awful, though, if you've seen it. I mean, it is really bad. But yeah, it was all right, mate, in fairness. It does make me more determined, though, to just do this full time. And hopefully you guys and everyone else supporting it, we can make this happen. So, again, PPI came in pretty good. You can see some of the revisions there. So you can see the previous revisions for July got revised down to 0.7, which is pretty good, from a 0.9. Now, worth noting, you're always going to see a slight decline on a massive move. Don't forget that move was as big as we saw in January. But final demand, less food, energy, and trade was actually 0.6, which wasn't, which was 0.3, which was kind of in line, albeit not particularly wonderful. Where did it all come out of? We said, didn't we? Trading services, etc. You can kind of flick through it in a bit more detail and sort of see where all this is. As no one really cares. No one really cares where it comes in. Manufacturing, as you would expect, was the kind of rather larger catalyst on the back of it. Now, what is worth noting, though, and one thing we obviously need to keep an eye out for is ultimately, this is not what we're going to see, is ultimately where we get to with CPI. And we talked about CPI and we've talked about what that prediction could look like. This is obviously going to be pretty important. If CPI comes in line or below expectations, then get ready because it's about to get crazy. So you can see CPI data expected tomorrow, which is here. And currently the predictions for that CPI is coming in at 2.8 as a forecast with a 2.9 consensus. So expectation is going to be a little bit hot, all right? Potentially up to 0.1. If it comes in worse than 0.1, I think, yeah, I think that's going to be bad news. And I would expect, personally, never financial advice on this channel, just my opinion, I would expect all of this gains to be wiped out tomorrow. Just my opinion, right? I think all of this gets out when that comes in. So it's worth noting as that falls through what that could look like. But given the fact we got PPI in a relatively good place, and don't forget jobs revisions came in at the worst in 5 years, does then allow us to speculate way more on the CME FedWatch tool, which is ultimately the index of what we think the Fed's going to do, which hasn't really moved, and I don't think it will move much until tomorrow, where you could see a spike in the 50 basis points potential, 92.1%. So I think it's fair to say rate cut is pretty much guaranteed. The debate is going to be how much they do it. We'll have to see. Let's get them rates down. Yeah, 100%. Did you hear about Charlie Kirk? Yes, I did, Luke. Yeah, it is awful. Really, really terribly awful. Pub or pump. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. What's going on, Vern? Don't forget, I will be live with Vern a little bit after this, 5:30 Eastern. That's 10:30 UK. Don't miss it. Don't miss it, Mr. Fairground. What's going on, buddy? What's your BTC price target for 2025? 165. 165 is probably where I'm going to sit. Maybe 170. 2026, 200k. I'm still in a 2025 cycle top, though, FYI. Good on, Chris Moore. Good to see you, man. So, yeah. So, again, let's just keep an eye on what's going on with BTC. It does open up this. However, CPI is going to be the big one, right? CPI, yeah, it's awful, man. It's bad. It is bad. Yeah, one time. What's going on, buddy? It's been a minute. Good to see you back. Right. We'll come back to Tom Lee, but ultimately he tells us that the 4-year cycle is dead, which is kind of bullish if you ask me. Depending on how you sit on it, depending on how you feel about it. Again, if you believe the 4-year cycle is dead, you have to then be in a world where you believe 2026 is the bull market top, not 2025, as many people do. 2025 aligns to to a 4-year cycle. All right. So if you don't align to a 4-year cycle, you must align therefore to a 5-year cycle, which could be pretty crazy. So let's just listen in to what Tom Lee had to say. But yeah, he's going wild and he is super bullish on the price of BTC. Hopefully TikTok, you can hear this as well. Let me know if you can't.
But they're not too. They don't have a lot of conviction around something. To me, I can say easily it should supplant gold. And so I think Bitcoin should be, over 1 million over time. And then I kind of prescribing to the view that there's probably a chance that maybe the 4-year cycle is ending for Bitcoin because of the way institutional adoption of that thesis is taking place. And so you have institutional and essentially permanent holders of Bitcoin coming in. So should be good. I mean, so I think Bitcoin should really build upon this 120 before the end of the year. So, 200,000, maybe 250.
Gonna be bullish on Tom Lee. Gotta be bullish on Tom Lee. And I think that's, I think the importance of that video, by the way, and I wasn't saying it was tonight, by the way. The importance of that video is what he says about the fact that you've got a number of institutions coming in, that they are basically buyers and holders. And I think that is an important thing to think about when we talk about long-term supply, we talk about long-term holders, we talk about these people holding Bitcoin down. Well, institutions are a massive driver of that. Now, just to give us a little bit of a flavor as to what that looked like today, don't forget, ETFs have been seeing some outflows recently, which isn't super crazy. A little bit of inflows over yesterday and the day before, which is kind of good news. But back into last week, we actually did see some outflows. Positive news, though, as expected. BlackRock gone big, baby. They're buying 1,521 BTC. Fidelity buying 621. Looks like a very good day for institutional buying as well. Again, as rates, don't forget, here's the other thing you got to understand, where you could end up, if you go to 2026, you therefore could end up with this insane cycle. Why? Interest rates come down. Imagine the Fed goes 75, 25, something like that, right? Imagine they do 75, 70, and cut nearly 2%, right? That means that companies could go and borrow significant amounts of capital at way cheaper prices. Way, way, way cheaper. So then you start to get into this world of, okay, let's go and potentially start a Bitcoin treasury company, Ethereum treasury company, Dogecoin treasury, whatever the hell it's going to be. I can leverage assets. So whether that's businesses, whether that's property, whatever it is, right? I can leverage that against a very low borrowing rate and then go and speculate on the markets. Like, that would be pretty crazy if you think about it. Therefore, you could get loads of companies coming in. Saylor could go and raise $1 billion and probably pay less than he's paying on 250 million right now, etc., etc., etc. That is literally where you sort of get into the potential where people, I think, talk about 2021 being 2026. You get into this world of thinking, holy shit, we could go like crazy higher. And if institutions come in or treasury companies come in and they buy and hold like Saylor does, don't forget Saylor's never sold any BTC. it's going to get pretty spicy if you ask me. It's going to get pretty spicy if you ask me. 200k is what we need to see to bring retail eyes back to the OG Bitcoin. That's true. And on the 17th, we begin a huge pump. Yeah, I hope so. What do you think MicroStrategy gets to? What, as in its valuation, or how many Bitcoins is it going to buy? Hit the heart, hit the like. Thanks, Fairground, you legend. Appreciate. Yeah, smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high, everybody. Love it. Likewise on YouTube as well. Don't think you're here just for a laugh. I was originally 249k, now higher 300s by the end of 2026. Go on, Tim. I love it. Tom Lee is a little bit like a Thunderbird's character. Okay, what have I got on the screen here? Allegedly, and again, you've got to take things with a pinch of salt. We want it to be true, but we don't know if it is. XRP. Now, what is this all about? Breaking hidden Apple code points to XRP integration September 19th. Users will be able to buy iPhones with XRP. I think it's a pretty bold statement. I don't think it's true, though. I don't think it's true. It could be fun, though, if it was. It could be fun if it was. Right, let's talk a little bit more about actual facts. Global broad money supply reaching 140 trillion in July 2025. Again, we are now seeing a skyrocket once again in M2. If we walk a look here, you can see that we are correlating quite nice to M2, but then look at this. Look at this kabooma shaker. Bah, beautiful. Now, obviously, this is slightly out of kilter based on the fact we got some very bullish PPI data, but again, we can see this kind of spike. This one's going to be the interesting one when we sort of head into that October push for new crazy mega bullish all-time highs. So, yeah, M2 looking very, very solid. And like I said, money printer is going crazy. You can see here 2008, 2020, where we sort of then see massive spikes in the accumulation of dollars, which is good news as well. And this is kind of playing out as we expected. So, yeah, you will be everything lines up with XRP. Oh, yeah, I hope so. Man, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be super bullish if we can get everything XRP to dial in. That'd be great news, wouldn't it? That'd be great news. Hopefully. Good. Right. And then look at this. This was just another thing I want to talk about, which we have discussed before. Lots of delays in ETFs today. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but 90 crypto ETFs pending SEC approval. I heard a rumor they'd approved a Dogecoin one, but I didn't see anything with the price. Anyway, this rate will have a one every top 30, 40 crypto insights 12 months. Even with delays, inflows will surprise for some, but others are still bottom bouncing on LT charts. So just kind of gives you an idea as to how big the scope is on these ETFs, but more importantly, the demand and insatiable appetite from Wall Street to get into some of these. Pretty crazy indeed. Okay, good. Right. Let's get into a little bit of news, and then we'll get into kind of anything you guys want to talk about. Some ETFs are getting delayed again today. Yeah, so Ethereum got delayed. I think a Solana one got delayed as well. So, yeah. Not great. Okay. Good. Craig says, oh, no, just not much to say. Oh, come on, Craig. Be bullish, baby. Be bullish. U.S. officer of the controller of the currency has demanded that banks stop discriminating against cryptocurrencies. Good news. What's going on, Blazer? Jonathan Gould, he is the chairman of the U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, said banks must end discrimination and participation in legally permissible activities related to the cryptocurrency sector. Everything's super bullish. Everything's super bullish. Thanks, everybody. You guys are crushing it. You think about how everything's lining up. You think about the demand. You think about, you know, I guess where we were to where we are. You've got to be in a world where you think, man, this market is absolutely ready and primed for a absolute boom shakalaka. Now, important to the reference, these are some of the delays we've seen. So the SEC delaying decision on the Frankel ETH ETF, particularly the fact that they are staking ETFs as well, which obviously is the next big iteration of ETFs. I think unlocks even more capital to come into this market. But the US SEC has extended its review period to November 13th. I think what will happen here, by the way, the fact they keep extending them and extending them. What's your prediction for XRP by the end of the year? My bearish case is $8. My mid to like normal is probably 10 to 11. Bullish case, you know, I think we could be at 12 to 15 maybe. I have actually opened that up a little bit as I sort of continue to cover XRP on the channel and continue to really dive into what's going on with it. You know, I think a 3x is, a 5x, sorry, is relatively comfortable, I think, for XRP, given, and they have to line everything up, though, by the way. Let's just be dead honest, right? That's not a given. They have to line everything up. After Fed cuts, the ETFs gets approved, I think it's going to be more like November. I think you might want to see another rate cut, personally. But the postponement highlights regulatory caution in integrating staking in traditional financial products. Do you know why I think they are delaying this? It's just my opinion. I genuinely think they are delaying staking because if you are if you've spent, let's say, the last 6 months, right? Let's say since January, inauguration, Trump's coming in, you've clearly got an agenda of being pro-cryptocurrency, you're a hedge fund, a bank fund, whatever, and you've started to buy Bitcoin, you've started to buy Ethereum, you're sort of seeing Tomlin and all the rest of it, and you're like, hold on a minute, this is probably worth something. If then someone's going to give you the opportunity to make I think it's like 6% if you stake your Ethereum, maybe even a little bit more, like Solana's like 7.6%, then I think they're generally delaying them a little bit because they don't really know how much capital is going to go into them. And I would argue we could see like some crazy numbers go into them, because why would you hold it in a traditional bank, or why would you hold it in a traditional kind of, standard fund, unless obviously you're in the kind of top end of it? Like, surely you're going to want to put in some of these ETFs. Bear in mind, they're an ETF product, therefore they're backed by regulation and by the government, and you could be getting 7% yield on it. Like, hell, imagine a Solana ETF giving you 7.65% yield on your stake. Like, just imagine that. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy. Can I tell you why they would hold it in the bank? Why? Can I tell you why they would hold it in the bank, 2bit? Yeah. Of course you can. I mean, let's be fair. It's not actual cash. It's either assets or like, bonds or all the rest of it. Banks have had their day, mate. Yeah, I think so. I've told you guys, I have my pension and that's it. And a bank account that me and my missus have, and I don't have anything to do with it. Don't have anything to do with it. Other than that, I don't have no savings, no nothing. All mine is invested in digital assets. Buy penguin today, I'd wait, Brian, personally. Do you think that we'll see a pullback before we fly? Look, the reality is we could see a pretty heavy pullback tomorrow, so you need to be mindful. CPI data could come in not good, all right? So it's worth noting. Again, we'll see where this goes, by the way. Yeah, this is it. Look, potential years of 3 to 4% APR remain attractive for traditional investors. Think about that. If you are a standard, let's just let's take my parents as an example, right? They're dead boring. They literally only joined the world of digital banking, as in like online banking, about 3 years ago. They now think it's the best thing in the world. They used to like go to the bank and get money out every week. So they had like proper old school, don't like technology people that are happy to put their money into like ISAs and all the rest of it. Again, this isn't financial advice, by the way. I'm just saying. And earn 0.25% interest. Okay, well, imagine you could go and earn 4% on an ETH yield that's backed by Ethereum, which if you understand it, you go, well, okay, I'm not going to take anything out for 20 years. Where's ETH going to be in 20 years? Then, you could sort of see it go up. It is my opinion anyway. Appreciate all the followers, by the way, coming in on TikTok. You guys are crushing it as always. Thank you. Because they wouldn't take the risk until crypto matures. It's not a big enough asset to hold massive amounts of money without risk. Other options might not offer the same yield, but they offer more safety. Yeah, that's true. That is true. You're absolutely right, by the way. Yeah, it is true. Do we know when the final pass comes in for the Clarity Act? Isn't it October? I thought it was October. You are right as well, Craig, by the way. Yeah, Irina, I can't remember a second name, but yeah, that's fucking awful as well. It's a crazy world right now, bro. It is a crazy, crazy freaking world. People just need to chill out. Like, yeah. Oh yeah, there's no way that's going up there. No way on this earth. I'm sorry, absolutely not. Yeah, there's absolutely no chance that's going up. It's just bad, I think it's fair to say. Okay, let's continue on with a little bit more in the news. So, crypto surge, AVAX and ADA leading the altcoin pack. Why? That's the question. Well, they could signal some further upside moves with what's going on at the minute. And I think it's all good to see. Now, evaluation of the most popular coins like Cardano and AVAX under consideration believes S-Coin ecosystem is the one to keep your eyes out. Basically, what we're seeing is a little bit of adoption, a little bit of kind of market sentiment flipping into what we've talked about. And we've talked about this channel a while, undervalued altcoins. And you look at some of them, then you start to get into a world of saying, well, AVAX is probably in there. Cardano, you'd argue, is probably still in there as well. So the fact here, though, that Avalanche consistently is mentioned as a critical point after 222 days. AVAX bulls have crossed the key threshold, bringing extra hope on investors and significant days should the daily close also exceed this level. New peaks 32 to 36, which, by the way, I hadn't read this article before I came on and did it, which is pretty much where we're at in terms of that move. You remember, we're up here, aren't we? Look, 32, so we're at the lower range of it. So I think we definitely see that play out. And yeah, keep an eye on it. AVAX, we talked about that all last week. It was one of the picks that I kept saying to people. It's undervalued and it has had its move, so I would definitely keep close to what that's going on. The SEC announcing regulatory shift to boost US crypto markets. We talked about this as well. The shift aims to stabilize the crypto markets, encouraging innovation, reducing legal uncertainties. Paul Atkins definitely given a view and declared a broad policy overhaul, aiming to foster innovation. Right, it's pretty bullish news if you ask me. What's your prediction tomorrow market? So let's double back on CPI in just a minute, right? Yield curve signals a slowdown. I think it's fair to say this is not a bad thing, by the way. A slowdown in the economy isn't the worst thing. Flattening of the US Treasury yields. By the way, just to give you a number, lots of the Treasury yields down today. 4.69 on the 30-year is great. The 10-year down 1%. Treasury yields coming down. Good news for cryptocurrency, right? People are way more. Think about it. If you get an Ethereum ETF, you're going to get 4% yield. It's going to be better than any Treasury yield you can get as long as they're under 4%. Could be good news. Yeah, which I think would be great. Picked up 100 AVAX at 10 when you were saying a while about Johnny. And bro, that means you're nearly 3x up on that. Let's go, baby. Love those stories when they're like, hey, man, I watched your video and I went and bought this and it's now like done a 20x. And you're like, yes. Yes. Do you know what's even better? When people go, hey, bro, I'm a member and I've also joined your Discord Premium. And it's, oh, man, I just made so much money. It's great. Boinked, what's going on, F. Joe? Good to see you, man. Solana, please. I mean, Solana's on a nice little run right now. 222, very much playing out on the on that upside trend. Everything's looking super bullish for Solana right now. Super bullish. Ecosystems exploding again. Meme coin volumes going through the roof. DEX volumes skyrocketing. Stablecoins are going on there. And yeah, I mean, it's super crazy. Yeah, Josh, it's awful. Solana looks great. Ondo did well. Yeah, Ondo did nice move today, actually. Over 1%, I think it was. I mean, it's 6.5. Holy crap, yeah, Ondo's done very, very well today, actually. Didn't realize it was such a big move, but yeah. Good. Right, let's just finish this off, and then we're going to take a look at what's going on with CPI and what to maybe expect tomorrow. Look at this. Crypto Exchange Gemini now looking to go for an IPO. I'm going to float an idea about this. I might, and I don't know how people feel about this, by the way, but I might see if I can get into the IPO for Friday. I might take some of the community money that we have in Casper and try and buy Gemini IPO stock and see what happens. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I feel like it's probably a good idea. And let's see if we can maybe get some IPO stock in Gemini at a good price. The crypto exchange now expects to sell shares between 24 and 26 versus 17 and 19. Clearly, there is an excitement as this is going to go off. At the end of the new range, the company would raise more than $430 million, $3.1 billion valuation. If Circle does anything like it, could be pretty crazy. So yeah, I might try and do that and see, because I think at the minute we've got the money in Casper. It's not really doing anything, so I might try and get a little bit of IPO stock in Gemini, which might be a good idea. I think anyway. We'll see what that does. That could turn out to be pretty good. Good. Right, that covers off that. That covers off that. Good news. We'll keep this open now. Also, just money in Casper should have been punted a long time ago. I mean, that's probably true. I still have a little bit myself, in fairness, but now worth noting on something. Is it this XVM? Okay, yeah. So if you are a channel member, then go and check out the alpha calls as to what is I think about to happen with this. Go and have a look at it. And if you're not, you should be. I know I've talked about this before. This was obviously 55 million. It's down at 20 million right now. There is some stuff being worked out. Go and check it out. Again, hopefully you guys can see that. And if you're not a channel member, then feel free to become one. It's only a few bucks a month. It's not going to cost you a lot. You get our trade alerts as well as our alpha calls and reasons on the back of it. So this is one of them in that Discord. So check it out. You didn't say how high Solana could go. Oh, I think it could break $1,000. Yeah, I think Solana could break $1,000 this cycle, and I would be disappointed if it doesn't. I think it's probably fair to say. Crow coming up on the 1 hour chart, mate. Nice. Where's it at right now? It's like 25 when I looked the other night. So yeah, 25,780, but pretty flat on the day. Nothing too wild, which is good. Man, pump looks crazy right now as well. Good. All right, well, that's that. We can take a look at in the DeFi section. If you guys have got any coins, thoughts, charts, whatever you want to talk about, let me know in the comments and we'll bring it up. We've got about 25 minutes left of the stream. Don't forget, though, we will be back 10:30 in the UK with none other than the cryptoverse. If you want to come and join us for a slightly different show, we may have some guests with us, etc. So just a general kind of conversation and a chinwag. ETH, yeah, I've been talking about ETH for a while. It's holding a range right now, so I think ETH needs to make a decision. If we get a bullish CPI, this then flips the market. This would flip the market better, right? Excuse me. So if that happens, then ETH could break to the upside. Price target to the upside right now, in my opinion, to validate a move would be 4,755, which is just below its previous all-time high, but you haven't got a lot in there. You probably argue 4,500 becomes like a first little hurdle. You know, if you think about that. Oh my God, why has it done that? Oh my God, dude. 4,500 probably becomes the first real little test there on, I'm going to color that slightly different. That probably becomes the first little test on ETH. If we break above 4,500 and can hold that, you'd argue we probably look at really going after the top range. But for me, it all depends on what CPI comes in tomorrow. Think of it this way: if we get lower inflation, then we could see higher rate cuts because they will go after the labor market, which we know is a little bit challenging. Okay. Traders will price in bigger, they'll price in bigger rate cuts as well. So what you could see tomorrow is if you've got a bullish CPI, you could see futures and open interest skyrocket on Bitcoin and many others. And again, it all boils down to what we talked about earlier on, that ultimately lower interest means that people can borrow capital, raise capital against debt, etc., 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 right? It will also weaken the dollar, which, you know, the reality is that we could see that. Weakening the dollar, which means people are more inclined to go to risk assets, which could be bullish for cryptocurrency. And equally with lower rates, people are much more prepared to then take a bigger risk. Therefore, they will be much more inclined to go into Bitcoin, and, you know, there'd be less risk. I'm not saying it's not riskless, but there'd be risk. If you think about it this way, we could get good CPI, i.e. low CPI, 50 basis points, and a dovish Fed. I mean, imagine what that looks like. Holy crap. I think, yeah, I've muted the Discord, right? I've sorted it out. Don't worry about it. So, you know, we could definitely start to see that. If it flips the other way, and this is important to think about, we could get not so good data, Fed cut 25 and come in hawkish on the labor market. Ugh, it feels like it'll be a slog. Literally feels like maybe we're wading through treacle for a couple of months, but still, I'm going to lean towards, where am I going to go to? I'm going to lean towards on point CPI. So I'm going to say it's going to be below. I think forecast is 2.9, expectation 2.8. I'm probably going to sit within that range. I think we come in at 2.9, right? That's where I'm probably going to sit, which I think will be okay. If it's okay with forecast, then that's fine. 2.9 comes in, which tees up a 50 basis point, which tees up 25 basis points cut in September, but a slightly more dovish Fed, I think, comes in with then a potential rate cut furthermore in October, and then probably another one in November, so we'll have to see. I wonder how many more X's Sui has left in it. I mean, we talked about Sui before. I think Sui could have a good run this cycle. You'd argue, look, I think a lot of these altcoins, if everything goes where it should do and plays out how we expect it to, and ETFs and treasury companies and all those decide they're going to go big, I'd be annoyed if you haven't got certain coins hitting double digits. You know, XRP, Sui would be another one. I think Aerodrome could do it. Definitely Near Protocol. You know, could that get to $10? Probably. I think so. So I'd be pretty annoyed if they didn't get there. And I think, yeah, I mean, love to see, but I think all that sort of place has got some solid moves right now. But yeah, go Sui. Yeah, 276 I got in on Sui, so I'm pretty pleased where that is right now. Is it really 37? Nice. I like it. I like it. Ondo, yeah, I mean, look, Ondo's definitely one of those where, I think I said this before, I wouldn't want to be not in Ondo. Think about it. We talked about US Treasury markets and ETF markets. It's $27 trillion that could go through. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but it could go through the Ondo Finance and therefore Ethereum protocol, which could be pretty crazy, if that's me. Yeah, so we'll see. I might just send you a DM when you get time. Okay, buddy, no dramas. On here, yeah? Or somewhere else? Where have you sent me a DM? Is it on TikTok, right? Yeah, it doesn't look like it's on doesn't look like it. I want some Sui Sober and it kicks butt. Nice. I like it. Zach reacted to the bill. What's going on, pal? All right, nice one, Devo. Yeah, I'll as soon as the stream's finished, mate, I'll take a look at it. The EMAs are crossing paths on the Crow. Think a pump is coming tonight. I mean, maybe. I don't see a lot happening tonight. I mean, do you think the Asian markets buy without really seeing what CPI data comes in as? Doesn't feel like they will. Doesn't feel like they will. Now, if we take a look at what that looks like from a pre-market standpoint, the Asia markets are... Don't forget, you got European interest rate potentially cuts as well. So the Nikkei looks like it's doing about 0.8 and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange up to about 1%. So we may see a little bit of capital flow into the markets later on. You know, you're talking like, what, 11:30, midnight maybe. Maybe we see that. Data tomorrow will be very... I mean, you can't trust any of the US data. I just wait and see what happens in terms of that CPI report. The Asian markets always do call... I mean, maybe. We'll have to see. Yeah, smash it. 15,000 likes. You guys are bullish. You guys are bullish. How much do you have in Casper for the community fund? Don't know. Off the top of my head. It'll be less than it used to be. I can't remember. I'm going to say... I think it might be $1,000. I think it might be $1,000, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest. It may be a bit less now, given the price of Casper's at what? Like 8 cents. But yeah, I mean, if we got 1,000, you know, I think balls to the wall, go for try and get the IPO for Gemini and see what we can do with it. I think if you get that, I think if we could get that at a decent price, then you know, that could play out favorably, I think. And we'll see if it does like Circle. I mean, Circle went crazy, didn't it? So, and it'd be kind of fun. I think it'd be kind of fun to hold some stock. We don't hold any stock. I mean, I haven't for ages, but equally, if we can get in, make some gains, get out, and maybe get in something else, I don't know, it'd be kind of nice. But I'll take a look at it. I'll see how easy it is. I think sometimes when you're buying US stocks, though, in the UK, you've got to do all sorts of crazy forms and tax forms. And I remember buying some shares in like Walmart and a couple of other places. My missus did it with some companies, and you have to fill out tax exempt forms and all sorts of crazy stuff. So yeah, how is that XRP RWA play going? The one that dumped 8%, did it recover? XRP RWA play? Give me a clue. I don't know what you mean. I have some Tesco shares. Nice to have it. XRP RWA play. I don't know. Maybe I've got memory fog. Oh, yeah, I can't remember. What was it? No, XVM's this. CTO, XPR. That's on ETH though. XVM. That's not XRP though, is it? XVM's not an XRP one, is it? I thought this was like... Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. Hit the like your legend. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It comes up saying son is interested in contacting the creator. Just send me a DM then. Like, come on, bro. Just send me a DM. XRP. I mean, look, XRP I think is holding up pretty well. I talked about this on my video the other night. I think XRP is playing out pretty nicely and doing what XRP always does. People think I'm a liar when I talk about this, but you look at kind of how XRP is playing out. It's going to do, I mean, that's probably a little bit low, actually. It's going to do exactly what it always freaking does. Oh, cancel. Which is, you know, it kind of does this weird consolidation thing before the breakout, isn't it? Look, there's the move. And then, you know, we sort of see this. Right now, in my opinion, again, if market comes with us, I think XRP breaks out to the upside. That's what I want to see. But, yeah, always does it. We saw it back here. You know, this kind of pattern played out here before the breakout. You go back a little bit further. XRP just does that. It just consolidates, boom, consolidates, boom. It's just literally how it works. So, yeah. What is that? Something just came up in the Discord. What the hell is that? All right, yeah. Someone just joined the Discord. Welcome in. Welcome in. XRP hops up slowly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, look, as long as it's going up, isn't it? XRP loves wedges. Yeah, it really does, actually. It's supposed to be connected to XRP. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I saw that. Holmes, what was the other one? The meme. Well, the XRP meme. Zun says Thursday. No sense of humor here. I don't know what you did, Bits Players. What did you say? A brick. Well, oh, what's red and bad for your teeth? Get out of here. Anyway. Well, we have okay, you're not gonna like this. There is a chart section. There is a full-on trade signals. It's just in the it's behind the paywall, Holmes. You gotta become a channel member to get into it. Now, interestingly, I actually posted in this yesterday, I think it was. What's coming next for Bitcoin? Big with a short break down from the upward trend. Resistance at 112 to 113 needs to break above for bullish momentum. Supports 104 and 106 with targets at 118 to 120. Area to take profits if the breakout holds. Buy above 112 for breakout play and wait for the dip near 104, 106. Exit if price breaks below 104. So that was what I posted in there. That was the call on the BTC chart. And look, exactly that. The breakout from the 112 signaled a bullish momentum. Slightly awkward given what's in there. But yeah, we actually do have that. And the alpha call section, again, that's in there. No VC opportunities at the minute, and then a full welcome group. So again, you can get full access to that if you are a YouTube member, which I think you can get for about $6. Worth it. Hopefully it's going to fly up weekend. Yeah, hopefully. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. I think, I think the markets could do pretty well. Again, I think everything kind of relies on tomorrow, doesn't it? In my opinion, everything is very much going to rely on what it looks like tomorrow. So we'll see. We will see. Okay, good. I don't even know what that is. We're on XRP to make me a millionaire. Cameron, let's hope so. Let's hope so. You and me both. You and me both. I mean, 37, love that, by the way. Love that. What time is it due out tomorrow? It's like, so UK time, I think it's about 10:30. It's like 6 a.m. Eastern, I believe. I think it's 6 a.m. Eastern. Hold on, I'm going to tell you. CPI comes out 1:30 Eastern time. I think that is. Yeah, so it's like, is it like R6 or something for us in the UK? But yeah, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, I think it is. So watch out. Unless oh no, UTC +1. All right, yeah, no, sorry. It comes out 1:30 for us in the UK. Sorry. It comes out 1:30 for us in the UK. Therefore, that must be like 8:30 Eastern, I think. Hey, to be, you think tomorrow or the next day will be a sell the news event? It depends. I think if CPI comes in bad, then the market's going to tank. If the CPI comes in on forecast or better, i.e. lower, I think we could be off to the races, me personally, because I think you're going to see a pretty heavy amount of people take long trades on the expectation that rate cuts will push it. I do think if CPI comes in very good, let's say you get a CPI of like 2.6, right, which would be 0.3 below forecast, 0.2 below expectations, then I think you could price in 50 basis points, which means that when we actually cut the rates, you probably won't see as big a move, which could mean, weirdly, in the short term, rate cuts sell off, which would be pretty crazy if you think about that. But yeah, I mean, look, my view on all of this sort of stuff is that I just don't trade those particular events. I was actually going to trade the PPI data because I was fairly confident it was going to come in okay, but I didn't because I was out last night. What are you leaning towards? What do you think tomorrow? I think on expectations, but slightly elevated. So 2.9 is where I think, which I think the markets will be okay with. I think markets will be okay with. Anything below that, good news. But I'm going to go 2.9. I don't think it's going to be bad. The difference between PPI and CPI, obviously, is that trade number, which we talked about earlier on, goods and services. Goods being up, services being the big driver. You're not going to get that specifically in the consumer price index, albeit you get a little bit as well. So, but yeah, I'm leaning towards 2.9, which is in line with forecast, but slightly elevated, which I think markets will be cool with. And then it opens the doorways for 25 basis points, which I think isn't a bad idea given the jobs revisions that we got in. And then we can sort of move on from there. So yeah. You think enough people pay attention to the data? Yeah, I think so. Smart people pay attention to the data. If you are just a FOMO buyer, I guarantee if you could get all the people that watch, listen, and learn the data versus people that don't, I guarantee the people that watch the data make more money. Guarantee it. If I think about where we are as a community from where we were, then, definitely helps to analyze and really think about where the data is going to go. Well, lots of smart people these days. That's true, son. That is true. Lots of people are just overhypers out there. They're like, it's going to be amazing, Mark. It's going to go to the fucking moon. And it just doesn't. CC Dog. It was doing all right, I think. Courage the Dog, yeah? Courage the Dog. Where's it at now? Down 11. Still at 2.14 milli. So, I guess in a very small uptrend. This isn't particularly good, but it's holding up all right. And yeah, I mean, don't forget, we called this on the channel at what, 150k, something like that, I think it was. 150. Pretty bullish. What's Stray Dog doing? I was keeping an eye on this. 2 milli. This one's down the pan. This one's down the pan. Although could again start to, potentially move back to the upside. Has he really? Shit. They're bad. Let's have a look at the news. Man, that is fucked if he is. BBC. Hold on. Yeah, two young kids. I feel like his missus was pregnant again, or maybe it's Riley Reid. Charlie Kirk shot dead 5 minutes in the time. Here's what we know. Speaking of please also CNN. Are they reporting this live updates? Oh yeah, Charlie Kirk is filling the feeds. Just in, President Donald Trump says Charlie Kirk is dead after the conservative activist shot in the neck. Fucking hell. Suspect of the shooting is not yet in custody, according to the spokesman of Utah University, despite the school saying earlier police have had someone in custody. Trump previously praised Charlie Kirk. Wow. Wow, that is. I mean, that is fucking messed up, innit? It's proper messed up. Like, yeah, I don't think that's true though, Curtis. Yeah, the world has gone mad. It's fucking messed up. The bloke's got 2 young kids. Honestly, it makes me feel sick. It makes me feel sick. As a dad, you just think, Jesus fucking Christ, what is wrong with the world? Yeah, like, I mean. Fucking hell. Imagine that. Imagine that for your political beliefs. It is freaking insane. Insane. Yeah, 2 proper young kids, look. Shooting someone because he has a different... Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely fucking lunacy. We're living in a scary time right now. No one's safe anymore. Yeah, honestly, it scares me to death. Genuinely scares me to death. So I was out last night in Manchester. And, within our work group, there's like, women that work with us as well. And it's just like, you're absolutely not walking around by yourself. You are not walking back to the hotel by, like, it's terrible. Like, it is terrible. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. I'm not from Manchester. No. I work in Manchester, but I'm not from it. Yeah, loads bits plays, loads of people text me, loads of people like message me about, oh, do you want to boost your audience and earn $100,000 a week? You're like, shut the hell up, get out of here. Yeah. Okay, well, we've got about 10 minutes left, but yeah, thoughts go out. I mean, yeah, it's a Charlie Kirk's family. That's absolutely the most messed up thing in the world. Messed up. Jesus Christ. Awful. Yeah, Charlie Kirk officially pronounced dead. It's wild. That is wild. Yeah, I get that after watching the 2-bit show. Loads of messages. Yeah, I know it is crazy. Again, I would just reiterate for everybody, by the way, I will never message you unless we've already messaged, right? So if we've already had a conversation, if we've already spoke, if we've DM'd at some point, then I might message you out of the blue. I'll never ask you for money. I'm never going to ask you for your seed phrase. I'm never going to ask you for anything. I promise I won't ever email, message, or text you all unless we've already done it. So if anyone messages you pretending to be me, it's not me, right? It feels like Discord is bad. TikTok a little bit after the live stream. So again, please be super mindful of that because they are out to take your money. All right, it is dead important to dead important to not, to not give him it. Trilogy is the guy on YouTube and TikTok, and that sits there. That sits. Yeah, that's him. Yeah. That's exactly who it is, Craig. Him. But I don't answer them. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, look, breaking news. Look on the top there. CNN, Trump says Charlie Kirk was killed in a shooting. Man, it's just... President Trump confirms Charlie Kirk is dead. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understands or had the heart of the youth of the United States growing. He was loved by my men, especially me, and now he's no longer with us. Melania, my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and the family. Wild, isn't it? It's crazy. He doesn't come for anyone. He sets a stage to have debates. Anyone is welcome. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, 23 minutes listed in critical condition. What was he doing like before he got shot? What was going on? He was just in it. I think he was just having like a normal debate, really. Like, yeah, just like a normal debate. And yeah, like someone just shot him. I mean, it's fucking messed up. It is messed up. 31, yeah, it's crazy. 31, two young kids, just has a different political belief, and yeah, gets absolutely fucking nuked for it. Crazy. Crazy. I believe how someone can do something. Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? It is wild. They were only the second speaker. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said right now. The thing is, it's a dangerous game, and it getting into... I don't mean him, by the way, but even just talking about it, like, so many radical views on it, and you just think, what, like, genuinely... I love conspiracy theories, by the way. I love conspiracy theories. I love going to the whole nature of conspiracy theories. And there is this theory, isn't there, that, you know, we are not alone, all that kind of stuff. And that, you know, there's many a recorded article. There was a Mexican pilot, I believe it was, who allegedly translated this, like, you know, alien language. And it came through saying something like, you know, that the human race is still the only race that choose violence to sort problems out. It's true, isn't it? It's crazy. It's crazy. Don't want to turn this too political, but he talks a lot of sense in mind. Yeah, look, this is the thing. This is the thing, though. It's like you should be able to have your view. You know, and you're just thinking like, what? Yeah. Anyway, I have to be careful. But yeah, it's bad news. Like really bad news, if you ask me. Never tell anyone you're loaded with Bitcoin. I tell everybody Fairground. I've got about $600. That's my portfolio. That's it. That's it. I'm just a guy that talks about cryptocurrency on the internet. You get arrested in the UK now for having your own view, though. I mean, that's true. That's true. We've got to be careful. They might come and get us. They might come and get us. Anyway, right. That is the charts. A very somber ending to the live stream. Don't forget, we are going to be back at 9:30. No, we're not. We're going to be back at 10:30 with none other than 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗱. So hopefully you guys can tune in and join us. Yeah, have you seen that, Holmes? The Mexican pilot thing is wild, actually. Feyenoord, yeah, CPI tomorrow. We're back on here, Fairground, yeah. So Vern and I will be back on here at 5:30, which is 10:30 UK time. So hopefully we'll have a couple of guests up with us. We had Cuff last week. And yeah, we'll see. Like, it's definitely a show where I'm happy to bring a couple of people up. We definitely need to vet some of them. I got a message from somebody, I want to say who it was, and I didn't believe them. I didn't believe who it was saying. I said, "Oh, send me a video just saying I can't wait to be on the 2-Bit Crypto Show." And they were like, "Oh, no, I can't send you the video, but let me come live." You're like, not a chance. Not a chance. If you don't prove that you are who you are, you ain't coming on this live stream, all right? I ain't getting banned on TikTok. That's not happening. Anyway, so yeah, we'll be back at 9. Why do I keep saying 9:30? At 10:30, 30 minutes back here with none other than 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗱 and myself. So everybody, until then, thank you so much for watching. As always, And finally, we will leave it definitely with our thoughts and prayers going out to both Charlie Kirk and his entire family. It is very sad news that Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, has officially been pronounced dead. And it's a terrible, terrible thing. So with that being said, everybody, I will hopefully see you guys in half an hour and catch you guys on the flip side.